and a warm welcome to this Women's Day Special Edition Strengther, an initiative of CXO Digital Pulse. Here, we shine a spotlight on remarkable women who do not only have carved their own path but also inspires others to follow suit. Today, we are honored to welcome someone who has truly embodied the spirit of resilience, transformation, and empowerment. It's none other than Anu Aggarwal. Rising to the fame of the early 90s with the blockbuster hit Ashiki, Anu quickly made a household name. Post reaching pinnacle of success in Bollywood, her life took a dramatic turn following a near fatal accident that led her on a path of introspection, healing, and ultimately a deep dive into the world of yoga and spirituality. Today, she's not just a former film star, she's a motivational speaker, a yoga instructor, and an author whose life story offers invaluable lessons on the power of resilience, the importance of self discovery, and the beauty of starting anew. As we celebrate Women's Day, we couldn't think of a more fitting guest to discuss the theme of Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. Please welcome her along with us. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Namaste, everyone.
So, Anu, we have seen you on the big screen as being a Bollywood celebrity, and you had a fantabulous journey after that. We have seen you only there in the news, and I think it would be a good opportunity for our audience to know a bit more about you, your journey, your perspectives through this interview today. And so, with that, we'll start with a rapid fire round so that we can have some instant responses and everyone will get to know more about you as what real Anu is.
Okay, fine, sure.
Great. So we'll start with the very first question. So if I ask you to give me one word that describes your journey, what would that be?
Sensational.
Okay, that was amazing. And who is the most inspiring, say, women for you?
Mother.
Okay. And one habit that every woman should adopt for self-growth?
Self-love.
Great. One piece of advice you would give to your younger self?
Stay young.
Okay. And you have been practicing a lot of yoga also. So I would ask, which is the most challenging yoga pose for you?
Yeah, when I started yoga in 1997, it took me years to practice and to perfect one pose, which you may think is a simple one, but it was the lotus pose, the Padmasana. Okay. That was the most challenging for me.
I would agree to that. It's one of the most difficult one, although it looks very easy.
Yeah.
And with that, we are closing a rapid fire round, Anu, and it was, I would say, really prompt and precise answers that you have given. Now let's move forward to the main question, where we will ask some specific questions about your journey. So I would say your journey started as a celebrated Bollywood actress, and then you moved towards to become a yoga instructor, a motivational speaker as well. And I would say both these are very unique and inspiring. And you have overcome a lot of personal and professional challenges with resilience, I would say. So could you share with us some moments in your journey where you felt that, this is a turning point towards becoming more empowered?
I think that, first of all, I want to share with you something that my mother and my parents have shared with me, since I was a little child. And I think that it's funny, but I was actually born empowered. So as a little kid, I would do things on my own. I knew what to wear, how to stand, and what to do. And I would tell I might tell my parents that this is the way I want to do it. I want to. Then when I was like 3, 2, 4, at that age, I knew what my name would be. Okay. Anu is a name I have chosen for myself in school, when I was 4 years old. Wow. So Yeah, exactly. So my mother had another name for me, and I just like pounded the table because I couldn't speak very much at that age, right? Pounded the table and kept saying, "Anu, Anu, Anu," so I think that this is, and I have, as life has gone on, I have done some intense study, especially when I was leading a Buddhist meditation center on karma. And I understand that this is my karma, to be empowered, and I think that also, therefore, it has started with empowering others, and whether it's women or it's men. I mean, as a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old, you don't distinguish between boys and girls, really speaking. So you think like you want to empower everybody. You want everyone to have a better life. You want everyone. What is empowerment eventually, right? It is bettering. It is what the yoga. What is the definition of yoga? It says that, it is just maximizing your potential. And what my maximizing your potential for me is empowerment. Because at the end of the day, what is empowerment, right? So we can have some very, empowerment means I can have, everyone will have a different answer to what do you think empowerment is. Empowerment at the end of the day is self-empowerment to begin with. And I think that from a young age, I've kind of, my karmically, I have already had that. And therefore, from the young age, I just wanted to bring it to others. And which is why before, you all know me as, okay, I became super famous as Ashiki.
Yes.
But I was also a very famous supermodel before that for 2 years. But before that, I was an academic. I was seriously into academics. And I've stood first and, gold medalist in my graduation. And then I did social work. Because my idea was like, how can I reach out to the people?
And it's wonderful you brought this point that, it was there within your family. Your parents were supportive about this, because many a times that kind of support is not available. And
Right.
as asking about, or say talking about this support, so do you think for women, because there would be very few who would be as privileged to have that kind of support system around them, to empower them from the very beginning, but not many would have that kind of support. So according to you, how significant is the support system, or say even having a mentor in your life, so that they get into that acceleration mode, there's a progress in their life. So if you could cite an example from your journey, or someone known whose progress you have seen with that kind of support that they've got.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about this, and I think that family support. I mean, as children and as adolescents, you seek family support. It is so important, at that age to be, applauded by your parents and said, "Oh wow, very nice," to get compliments from other people, you know. So this is something that what you are saying is absolutely very, very relevant. But that's where I'll tell you, on this basis is where, when I in 2014 made Anu Yoga, I started with children, because my idea was empower the children, because they will be parents tomorrow. And the parents are not educated enough to understand. Most of the parents do not understand what you are saying, that we must empower our children, our girls, from a younger age. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. My father, for instance, I have an elder brother, and from the time I remember, when our school reports came, he would make us both stand together, and he would compare our reports. And my brother, for some reason, always stood first. Okay, and I never stood first. I would stand third. I always stood third for some reason. And he would bring it up, and he says he's standing first. why are you not? And I said, but pa, I'm so tired. And like, wow. I mean, it wasn't that big a deal for girls, most of the girls in their homes, that their parents brought up, what are your grades?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was like competition is with boys since that age. So I learned that it is not being a girl and being, my looks and all, and it's not enough. Gender equality, which we talk about today, for instance, a lot. We will come to that. I hope you have a question on that for me, because I have some things to say about that. But coming back to this answer, uh, mentor. So what happens is that your mentors, my mentors, for instance, have changed. I cannot really pinpoint on one mentor. Like when I joined yoga, my mentor because became the Swamiji over there who did astral travel at night and slept for 2 hours only. I think that each one of us can, depending on what our goals are, we choose the people we get inspired by. And considering that my life has been through so many different and drastic and radical changes, um, I've had a different mentor, inspirer in each of those gaps in each of those times.
Okay. And it's it is actually necessary because many a times, as per our mindset, we are very stuck with only one mentor. But actually, you pinpointed very correctly that it should depend on the kind of goals that you're visioning, and goals are certain things which do change because
Right.
once you've achieved, you move to another goal, and
Mm-hmm.
required the mentor also needs to be changed so that you
Right.
have that kind of bigger aspect learning source that is required. Anu, reflecting to this theme of invest in women to accelerate their progress, how important do you think is personal development and self-care for women today, especially in context of the challenges that women face, and even you have faced a lot many challenges considering the radical journey you had.
Yeah, so my journey is pretty unique in a certain sense, and but if you look at if when I look at women, by and large, you know, the self time, for instance, women are not giving themselves self time. For them, it is caring about the family, you know, caring about their jobs, caring. So they're always caring, caring, caring for others. And I think that the first thing is that somewhere a woman needs to understand that she is a separate entity and she herself needs that kind of caring, and she can self care. So even if expecting it from others, from the husband or from friends or whatever, from outside world,
Mhm.
more than that, the woman can get within. And so again, I'm going to, come to Anupam because that has the, it is made, it is actually structured for each one of these things that we are talking about because it teaches the woman, that she is also a separate entity, you know. So I think that as far as my journey is concerned, if you come to my journey, I knew it already. I'm an entity. I knew that I wanted to be independent when it was not even like a dream. It was like I took it for granted that obviously I have to get independent when I was 16 or 15. I knew it then. When I was 18, by the time I'm 19, I'm independent already, I knew that the boy came later, my job came first, and so, the family, you know how it is when the, rishte and all those are coming and, wedding
Yep.
will happen soon sort of thing when you're, in our families. And for me, it was like, I have to first excel in my work and then I will think of marriage. So the thing is that these are certain things that, again, from a woman, that's why I say self love is the most important thing. Because, and self love is not selfish, self love is just self care. And self care extends to your health, extends to your mental health, extends to your physical health, your emotional health, you know? So all of these things we need as women to be aware of. And my foundation right now is doing just that. It's just creating an awareness in women all around the world.
Okay. So, Anu, you have, I would say from the beginning, you have observed or experienced that kind of support. But you would also observe that, what is it for others who are around you? So, basis that in mind and relate to where we are standing today. So, what future trends do you foresee in the movement for women's empowerment, or say, for in that matter, gender equality, specifically in India, if I ask you?
It's interesting you say that because just yesterday, last evening, I had a meeting with a banker, from Morgan Stanley, and she's here, and I was just talking about what we could do for the women through we're talking about the foundation and talking about the things we could bring about in gender equality. And she brought about a really interesting thing, and she said, you know what? Women don't have financial independence. And I said, what do you mean financial independence? She said, I said, you mean they don't earn? She said, no, I don't mean that. She said, even women who earn don't know how to manage the money. So she was then giving me these examples of researches that have been carried out around the world and, certain other meetings that she has attended. And she says that even women today, especially in India, even women who are successful, they don't know how to manage their money. So when they're earning the money, that earned money is going to their husband or father. Give me a sec.
Sure, sure.
That money is going to their husband or father or whoever, the male figure, whoever there is. And so we were just talking about how, so when you talk about gender equality, it is definitely on educational level. Now, this is education. For me, I think this is education. Education is not just your ICSE and learning, geography and mathematics and etc. And I have been trained in a Gurukul style, and in yoga. And that's where I started to understand what the ancient Indian style of education was. Because what we have today is what, the British brought in or, all the invasions brought in. So it's not even like the style of education we have today is a few hundred years old. But what we had today was the Gurukul style, Guru Shishya Parampara. And in that, we already were learning so many different things. So it was a complete lifestyle. It wasn't just education, was just bookish knowledge and you pass the exam and get first or second degree. Education was how to live, how to respect, how to, how to be a socially conscious person, how to be a mentally conscious person, how to respect your elders, what is the relationship you have with your environment, what is the relationship you have with the animals, with the trees. Now, all these things, as we with this Western education system, we have lost all of that, right? So all these things, when you're talking about equality, first of all, there is education. Then you have, then people can be entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurship comes, but first of all, education is important. And by education, again, like I said, I don't mean just school education. That's important. Okay, fine. That you get a degree. That's a part of the thing. But if you see the youngsters today, more and more they are branching out of university education, and they're choosing their own path and saying, "I want to go this way," and which is healthy, which is absolutely healthy. So I think that gender equality has so many. It's so vast a subject. And gender equality is not restricted to man and woman, please, excuse me. This entire thing about feminism and, we need to be equal to men and we must, okay, fine. I'm not saying anything against it. I do agree with some of the things that they talk about, okay, fine, equal pay. And, I understand all of that. But I'm saying that first of all, you need to be, you need to, you need to be equal or to be on that level. At least you first need to educate yourself. You need to be on par. You need to understand how to manage your money. You need to understand how to manage your, being alone. Most of the women can't be alone. Do you know how many people ask me, how do you manage alone? There is, there are so many things that the women need to do to develop themselves, the self-development that we talk about before we can, start to claim inequality and, start to demand these rights. And so all of this entire, all of these other, the lifestyle aspects come into this, into
Definitely.
the, yeah, yeah,
Yes, and I would say very well put up this point, Anu, because I think people have been talking about feminism and equal rights, but I
yeah,
think the basic understanding that what comes in equal rights and
yeah,
equality is something which is very vast.
right,
Identifying those
right.
rights and then working towards is something which is more important because right now the scope, the understanding is very narrowed. That needs to
Hmm.
be broadened more.
Right.
Sure. Anu, we are coming to our last question. So, as we are celebrating this Women's Day, what would be the message from your side to all the women around there about the importance of investing, truly investing in themselves, so that they can have a well-defined, accelerated progress and growth?
I think the first thing I would say is that women, first of all, don't know, today's women, for instance, do not know what the women in generations have gone for them to be where they are today. And today, the social structure is such that it is applauding women. Women have a voice. So the thing is that I think that first of all, we need to acknowledge and appreciate and be grateful, you know, for what we have as women. And then the second thing is that then, of course, like the self-development, the work that we need to do on ourselves, which comes in to develop ourselves, to be worthy of what we are demanding, or expecting.
Thank you so much, Anu, for being with us today, sharing your opinions, thoughts, and along with that, also expanding the horizon with which people think about women's empowerment,
Yeah,
because that scope needs to be broadened a bit more. While we females are also saying and pointing out that we do have a voice for
right,
ourselves, but
right,
why not have a very acknowledged thought through process and thoughts that what equality stands for, rather than narrowing that scope, because
right,
where we have what we have attained today, a lot of generations struggle has gone into that, and what we are going to give to generations ahead, it
right,
also needs to depend how we are expanding or defining that scope for ourselves.
right. Absolutely. Thank you. Namaste.